Hey, welcome back to Turntable Guy. On the bench today we have a real beauty. This is a Pioneer PL-510A. I have not worked on one of these yet. This is a very nice turntable. Looks very similar to the 512, which is a belt drive turntable. It's similar in construction, but this one is really heavy. It's got a lot of weight to it, and it's a direct drive. I'm expecting some serious high quality here. I have not worked on one of these yet, and I have worked on just about every turntable there is, but I have not seen a 510 cross my my bench yet. So this one's strictly service. There's no problems with it, but like I mentioned, the goal of this channel is to try and service just about every turntable brand and model out there, and to document it and put it on YouTube. So if somebody's looking for some servicing advice on their turntable, hopefully they'll find it on this channel. So let's just remove this dust cover, which has been nicely polished by the owner. He said he used a headlight restoration kit on it. So very nice arm on this table, and it's got the classic Pioneer counterbalance over here. As far as cartridge is concerned, we have an old school Audio-Technica. Looks like an AT11 with a slightly bent stylus on it, but I can see some needle on there, hopefully. Looks a little dirty. We'll give that a cleaning on what is a older Techniques head shell. So this head shell technically does not belong on this turntable, but these are high quality head shells. We'll remove the counterweight as well. Or do we want to see it operate? Let's watch it operate. What the hell, eh? That's why we're here. Let's just make sure everything's working. If we can find our power cord, that is. Excuse my big head. Okay. Okay, so I'm thinking this one probably starts, yeah, like that. That's your off switch. So on, up. So that means is it in the up position? Yeah, it's in the up position when you move the arm over. This starts the motor running. And then we'll put it into down, obviously, to lower the arm, and it lowers nicely. Oop. And I think this is auto return. I might be wrong with that. Or is this fully manual? It might be fully manual. Let's see how our speed is here. Up. Yeah, pitch controls are over here. They're a little bit touchy, but not bad. 45. You can tell nobody plays 45s anymore. Oh, 45's a mess. It's not even dialing it. Actually, it's not getting speed. 4560 is the bottom one. We might need to adjust that on the motor board. Just shows how few people actually use the 45 speed, eh? Just working the pot a little bit here just to see if it comes back. Now it's running too fast even in the slowest position, so that might need a little bit of an adjustment, but most importantly 33 is okay, but it's touchy too, so those pots are going to get cleaned. Turn that off. Let's unplug it. Now we can remove our counterweight and our head shell. Let's lift up our platter mat here. Let's see what we got under the hood, so to speak. There we go. Big stock motor. Heavy bugger. Now I'm not sure if we need to access this from the top or from the bottom. Let's take off three screws. Let's see what we got under here. Like I said, I have never worked on one of these. Now, I'm not saying that you should willy-nilly remove screws, but I'm pretty sure this is just a cover to keep the motor from coming up when you pull up on the platter. That would be my guess anyway. It's metal. Yeah, it's just a cover. And actually, you know what? The motor looks like it's serviced right from the top here. Look at the build quality on this thing. It's all foam around here for vibration absorption. Pioneer direct drive phono motor. Wow, what a beauty. Looks like there's 3 tiny screws there. I don't like to rush into things, but since we're here, it looks like the motor is accessible from the top. And we're going to get it out. If I can get those little screws out without stripping them, that is. Make sure you get the correct screwdriver. That's the one. Wow. Here we go. These are tiny little screws. I'm just going to magnetize my screwdriver. If you don't have one of these, it's a great idea. If your screwdrivers are not magnetic, it's a simple magnetizer and demagnetizer for screwdrivers. You just run your screwdriver through it like this. And even if your screwdriver is non-magnetic, you give it enough of a charge so it will pick up screws. It's handy. These screws have never been out, and I'm sure this motor has never been serviced. So you want to put a lot of downward pressure and give it a crack when you have a tough screw like that to avoid stripping them. This is suspended as well. Really nice turntable. Move that foam aside. Yeah, there's our motor. I don't think, oh yeah, it is coming out. Okay, so simple motor to service. There will be a ball bearing in there. It doesn't look like there's much lube left. Let's zoom her in. Can you see the ball bearing down there? So get yourself a magnetic screwdriver and try not to scrape the sides of the bearing well while you're going down, and then extract your ball and put that somewhere safe, because these things have a tendency to roll away forever. I like to put it in the end of the if you put it in the motor, there's a big magnet in there that'll hold it. Okay, so this is kind of nice. We can just access the motor right from the top for servicing. Let's see how much oil we have in the pit. Is there anything left? Not really. That came out really dry, so it definitely needs some lube. And we're going to clean that out with some alcohol and a Q-tip. So just get in there with a Q-tip, dunked in a little bit of alcohol. Clean the sides and the bottom of the bearing well. Just like that. Okay, and then you're going to want to grab a paper towel. And just soak a little bit of the paper towel and some alcohol like this, and then you're going to want to clean the axle on the back here. They're all nice and squeaky clean. Okay, there's a little ball bearing there. And then as far as lubricant for this, we're going to go for the standard, which is 3-in-1 oil, manufactured for electric motors. This is an electric motor. And you want to put a few drops in there. Okay, so, and then I like to put a little drop on the end where the ball bearing sits, and then just a little touch on the side of the axle as well. And then grab your ball bearing and just drop it in there. That'll hold while you put this back in. Now, if you've overfilled it, like I do 99% of the time, it'll take a little while to come down. That's fine. Just let it do its thing. Well, not this one. This one went down like a ton of bricks. Done. Yeah, that feels really nice. You can see how the whole subplatter here is suspended from the main plinth. Wow. I have a tendency to overfill, especially Pioneers. This one just went straight down. That was with 5 or 6 drops of oil into the main bearing, and even a couple on this axle and on the end. So that's nicely lubricated now, spinning beautifully. Ready for another, I'm going to say 40 years of service. Very nice. Okay, motor done. Let's put this back on. Just got to kind of wedge it in here because you've got this foam in the way. This foam's getting a little brittle. I can feel it. When I touch it, it doesn't have the same give. So it, you know, if you touch it too much, it'll start to disintegrate. It's getting to that point. That's an age-related thing. You can replace it. It's just, you know, foam. If you buy some new foam, you could put it in there if you want to keep things factory. Put your cover back on. Just take these screws up. No rubbing. If you overfill the bearing, well, sometimes the axle and motor will sit up a little bit proud, and then it won't, you'll hear it rubbing against the top of this cover. It will eventually go down, especially when you put the platter on top of it. It will squeeze the excess oil out. Okay, I think we can put away our precision screwdriver kit here. And where'd my other screwdriver go? There it is. Put our plate back on. Oops. Okay, nice. So now we can turn it over because we need to get at our pitch controls. Let's zoom back out. And we'll do these screws together. These are, if I remember correctly, just from the 515s and yeah, 512s, super long screws. And they're a bit weird. They're hard to re-engage back into the holes that they belong in. So when you're putting it back together, you might be trying to get it back in and it feels like it's not. Just keep trying and keep repositioning the base until you get them to catch. And if this is anything like the 512 and the other ones like that, not the 512, the 115, sorry, and the 112. If it's anything like those, this will be a grounding screw, and this entire cardboard base is covered in a metallic, almost like an aluminum foil. And oh, these feet are adjustable. Interesting. And when you pull this up, there should be a ground screw there, and there is. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, this blue wire here. All you got to do is detach it. It's glued on. Lovely. Why they do that? Just work it loose if you can. There we go. So get that off. That's what it looks like on the inside. So it's got this kind of metallic finish here, but the whole thing acts as a grounding plane. And here is the electrical attachment for it. And look at the build quality on this puppy. So entire sub chassis here, which the motor's mounted on, 4 adjustable spring tensions here. Okay, I don't mess with those. Don't like to play with that. Motor control board right here. 2 adjustable pots. So we're going to adjust that so we can get 45 in order here. Undoubtedly, we got a 33 and a 45 here. Listed as VR1 and VR2. Back here, power supply. Okay, nice big caps here. And this is for our neon bulb, strobe bulb. And over to the other side is where we want to concentrate on right now. And there are our 2 pitch controls. So we are going to shoot those. And we're going to shoot them with a little bit of electric contact cleaner. In this case, we're going to use neutral. You can use deoxit if you have it. You can use whatever you want. So you just want to lift the base up a little bit because you're going to want to turn these and just do them one at a time. Let me adjust my nozzle here. And you just shoot in from the back. There's lots of open space. A little shot. And just work them one at a time. And they will loosen up nicely as the lubricant does its thing and the contact cleaner does its thing. And then what we're going to want to do is we're going to set these pitch controls to center point. And then we'll adjust the speed with these pots. Now, I didn't happen to notice if there were any holes in the base. Let's see here. Are they accessible with this on? Yeah, I'd say they are. I'm going to put a mark there. So I'm going to watch my head here. Right here. This one here. Right? VR1 and VR2 right there. Just so we know which one to, which slot to go through. Okay, so I'm going to say our 45 control is nice and clean. And if you look here, you can see this this yellow looks like it goes to the 45, and the orange goes to the 33. So I'm going to think VR1 is 33 and VR2 is 45 because the orange is here, the yellow is here. So it's just a guess. It's not 100%, but we'll go with that once we go cleaning it. Now, if you look at these pots here, you can see how the copper has kind of turned dark, and that's just natural oxidization, and that's what the contact cleaner takes care of. Yeah, they're rather gummy. That's already better. It's amazing how fast some of the stuff works just to clean out these pots. I'm just reveling in the beauty of this construction. You know, for a modern company today to manufacture a turntable like this, I find it absolutely amazing that this stuff was manufactured, you know, back in the day, back in the 70s. And, you know, you look at the stuff we have today, and it's not even, you know, a tenth as good. Like all metal construction, wood, the attention to detail, the size of the motor, just the size of the motor. Amazing. Okay, we're just going to kind of center those. That's it for under here, really. That's all we needed to do under here. We're going to set our speed. You know what? You can... Now, these are a little bit more difficult. If they were an open pot, I would say spray them. But what you can do is, before we start going underneath, let's find a screwdriver that'll work with that. And that one's going to fit. And they feel good. I'm just going to kind of center them like that. And then we'll adjust our speed. We've got to put the base back on to do that, though. As far as everything else under here, if you know, if you're the owner of this turntable and you want it to last the next 40 years, I would probably change out some of these capacitors, power supply, and so forth. Just looking here, they're Nippon Chemicon caps, and in my experience, these caps measure perfectly good when you take them out and check them out. There's yes, they do age, there's no doubt about it, but they remain very close to specification. But like I said, if it's your turntable and you feel like doing it, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 capacitors on here. Go nuts. Go ahead and do it. It's definitely preventative maintenance. All right, so let me get the base back on here, and then we'll adjust speed and we'll take care of that. I'm going to pause while I do that. And I'm just going to apologize right now. I have no way of setting up my camera here in order to set up the speed here. Basically what I'm doing is I put my speed wheel, my strobe here on the platter, because I'm going to be underneath my bench and I can't see the actual strobe. It's the two adjustment pots are in a really stupid position. Really hard to get at. You're almost hanging half the turntable off the edge of the bench. So I'm going to set speed. I've already set the pots to midpoint, the actual pitch controls on the top of the turntable. And then I'm going to get underneath and I'm going to adjust these till I get a nice stable speed. I'll do repeat for 33 and 45, and then that'll be set. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be back with the results. Welcome back. We're spinning. That was a bit of a pain in the butt. Trying to get those pots through those little slots on the bottom are really difficult. And plus, you've got half the turntable hanging over the bench, so you're supporting it while you're trying to adjust, and it's just a pain in the butt. But we have perfect speed now. And if you can see that, our 45 is right on the money. Our 33 is right on the money, and we have plenty of adjustable pitch now, which is nice. So that's our speed service done. So what does that tell me? Well, it tells me that the electronics on the turntable are working well. Something about Pioneer turntables of this era, these stupid metal rings always come out of the of the platter mat. I bet you underneath here is probably a protective layer. Yep, check this out. Watch this. I just hope it doesn't leave any glue. Oh, there it goes again. Anyway, check it out. This has been here since the 1970s. Ah, wasn't that satisfying? Look what's underneath. Brand new, shiny, stainless steel. Isn't that lovely? I don't want to put my fingerprints all over it. It's just that they have a tendency to pop up. They're very annoying for that. There. Okay, so our service is done, except for our stylus. I'm going to recommend to this gentleman that he invests in a new stylus. Send him a note today. There's something wrong with this cartridge. It's probably the same kind of quality level as a 1895, but that needle's bent. So I'll send him a message today, see if he wants to get a new needle for it, or if he wants to maybe buy himself a cartridge and get that changed. We're going to check for alignment as well. It's a Pioneer, so that means 49 millimeters between the tip of the stylus to the gasket. See where we're at. We're at 52, which is Techniques. So we're going to push that back. One thing about these Techniques head shells is all you got to do is loosen that one screw and oh, there is no more. Okay, I'm going to show you a trick. Oops. And you can see this thing popping up again. So if you have a situation where you don't have enough back travel or forward travel, this is how these cartridges work. What you do is you need to remove the cartridge. And then once you detach it from the slider, okay, so you detach it from the slider, and then what you do is you remove this nut and this screw, and then you flip this around. So we'll remove this screw. And there is a little washer on there. You don't want to lose that screw or that washer. And this nut as well, although the nut can just kind of stay there. So you grab this and you turn it around like that. Okay, and now the cartridge will sit further back. And then you put your washer and your screw back in. This is really hard to do on camera. And hopefully that's in focus too. Sorry if it's not. There. Okay, so now when you remount your cart, which is really easy with these head shells. Man, this is hard to do standing up, but I just noticed that the gasket fell off the back of the head shell. Okay, this is precision work that I should not be doing like this. Love these head shells. All right, so now we have a lot more movement to the back, so we can achieve our 49 millimeters. There, see, we're at we're about 50 right now, but look how much more movement I have now. I can go all the way back to maybe like 47. But you got to be careful that these don't touch, right? So I'll finish up with that, get that all lined up, and then we'll get it back on the table, set it up, and give it a sound test. All right, let's do a sound test. Everything's set up. I have sent a note to the customer if he would like to get a new stylus. From my supplier, AT11E stylus can run anywhere from 45 bucks all the way up to 79 for a Tonar branded one. Or you can get a brand new ATVM 95C for around 50 bucks, or an ATVM 95E for around 80 bucks if he wants to go for a new cartridge. So we'll see what he wants to do. In the meantime, on and up. This is a completely manual turntable, by the way. And for kind of a beat up stylus, it still sounds really, really good.
When the darkness takes you with her hand across your face.
And what'll happen at the end of this record, on this turntable, we'll just sit there, which is perfectly fine. You're not going to hurt anything. I mean, don't leave it there for 3 hours, but it'll just sit in that groove. And what you want to see is that the arm is not skating across the label. You want it to sit there, and that's perfect. So up, over, and off. And that, my friends, is the beautiful Pioneer PL-510A. What a lovely, lovely machine. If you own one of these, congratulations. You've got a hell of a turntable. That's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed that, and I look forward to seeing you again in the future. Take care. Bye.